Welcome to the Ask Coach Mac podcast, where coaches from around the world get their strength and conditioning questions answered.
What's up, guys? Ron McKeefer here, and welcome to episode number 37 of Ask Coach Mac. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great question from Kevin. Before we get to that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Iron Grip. Iron Grip is the largest provider of commercial free weight equipment worldwide and the only manufacturer with a line exclusively American-made free weight equipment. Their equipment can be found in premier fitness facilities in over 60 countries, including 3 facilities I put together. They're the industry leader and my go-to choice for bars, plates, and dumbbells. For more information, go to irongrip.com, follow them on Twitter, or call Chris DeSanto at 509-230-3124. All right, here's today's question from Kevin.
Hey, Coach. My name is Kevin Maroney. My question is, what other sports besides football have you worked with, and how has your coaching style differed between working with those sports, male and female athletes?
Kevin, thanks for your question. And I have to be honest, the only other sport that I've been responsible for or that I've directly worked with has been baseball. Now, I've been a head strength coach for many, many years, and in that, I've had to deal with all of our sports, all the different sports. But directly writing programs for and working with, the only other sport I've worked with is baseball. And I think that's such an important thing for you, for the young coaches that are listening. That is why it's so important for you to get involved with as many sports as you can and get a well-rounded experience through your internship, through your graduate assistant position, so that you can, and your assistant positions, so that way you can have that flexibility to be able to work with lots of different sports. But that said, it's also why I think it's important and why you should hire people that have played the sport in which they're going to work. When you get to the higher levels and when you rise in this profession, I think ultimately where you're going to be your best is when you work with sports that you have complete passion about and an ultimate knowledge about the inner workings. That said, when you find yourself working with a sport that you have not had experience with, you have to do your research. You have to find out. You have to go and watch practices. You have to go and watch games. You have to learn about the sport itself. You should reach out and see what other programs are doing. You should know the terminology that's being used and the demands of each individual position or time of year. I think you also need to pay attention to the coaching style of that sports staff. You have to be an extension of them. And so if they are very rigid and demanding, then I think you need to continue to carry that out throughout the year. I mean, that's our job as strength conditioning coaches, is that we continue to provide the same structure year-round for our coaches that we work with. It doesn't mean you're going to be the same person. You need to be yourself. You need to find your own way, but you also need to be able to maintain the standards and the accountability that your coaching staff has. And at the end of the day, honestly, the muscle physiology does not change. A bicep, and the principles to develop a bicep on a football player versus a cross-country athlete, they're the same. The difference is how you go about the weight that you with your understanding of exercise physiology and biomechanics, and you then turn around and do just the typical things that you would normally do when you're working with an athlete. Do a needs analysis, make sure you do your research, do an evaluation, figure out where the needs are, design a program based around those needs, and then turn around and find opportunities to make that program better. So, Kevin, I hope that answers your question. We'd love to hear what everyone else thinks. Use the hashtag AskCoachMac37 to continue the discussion over on Twitter. Kevin, thanks for your question. I want to encourage everyone else that if you have a question that you would like to potentially be featured on the show, head over to AskCoachMac.com. There you can ask your question by hitting the record button at the bottom of the page. Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys for listening. Here's a quote to finish the day by an unknown author. You are only confined by the walls you build for yourself. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next episode of Ask Coach Mac. Bye for now.